See it swimming away. Oh, we got something here. It's late September. I'm on a remote access road north of Lake Superior, hoping to spend a few days checking out some backcountry lakes. I don't have a lot of information about these lakes, and it's getting dark out, so let's get on the water and find a place to camp. Alright, we're on the creek that leads to the lake. It's a little precarious getting everything in from the trail there at the launch. The bag's not in an ideal position at the end, but we're hoping not to go very far. This lake is pretty small, and I couldn't really find any place to camp that was that great. It's pretty bushy here. We went over to closer to where the next lake is. It's over there. I don't know, it doesn't look like there's a portage there. So I'm gonna try and tackle that tomorrow. Try and get up the creek a little bit and find my way over. Yeah, this spot's a little, I don't even know to really call it a campsite, but somebody has stayed here in the past. You can see somebody's cleared this spot out. So that's where we're going to stay tonight. And don't even know if we're going to have a fire because there's not really a spot for it. Yeah, I don't think these lakes are very well traveled. Whew. Yeah, it's nice and calm out. I am tired. Good morning. Well, had a good sleep last night. Woke up a couple times. Actually heard some wolves howling. Maybe around 10 o'clock. Kind of over in there's a creek that leads to another pond or something way down there. I just heard them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then it went away. Dawson heard it, but didn't hear it after that. So kind of cool to hear that. Gonna hopefully get to the other lake today and find a nice spot to do some fishing and exploring, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit of a challenge to get over to that portage. That's gonna be my guess. So we're gonna make ourselves some breakfast and coffee. Girl. So we were up this direction 3 years ago when we did the Steel River loop, and this is a similar area. It's not too far from that area, and it's got these just remember seeing, you know, those really rocky, kind of rugged peaks, almost like mountains. And so I always wanted to come back to this area, and had an opportunity, had a week to come up this way and along the Superior coast there. And I've always wanted to come up in the fall to see the fall colors. And you don't get too many of the oranges in this area, but it was just beautiful coming up, driving up through just north of Sault Ste. Marie into Lake Superior Provincial Park. Just tons of places to stop there, lots of beaches. Yeah, it was a really beautiful road trip if you ever wanted to go up that way. Whew, all right, we've got ourselves, well, we bushwhacked for a while, and eventually we found an old portage trail, which is pretty sweet, and it's not in bad condition. We're just taking the canoe now. We've got everything else on the other side, and the other lake looks pretty cool. It looks like there's a couple of beaches on it, which we might stay at. Dawson's having a nice little cool off swim. Yeah, it's funny when you explore some of these old canoe routes and you look at the map and think, wow, the lakes aren't too far apart. Maybe somebody made a trail. And more often than not, somebody has. And you just have to find it. Let's go. So I'm getting into this narrow section here. Had a couple of bites, but haven't gotten anything up to the boat yet. Let's see if we can find ourselves a campsite. Alright, this looks like an old campsite. I think we might stay here. See an old fire pit there. Probably a spot to put a tent up on the top. And look at this view. Wow. Alright, this is gonna be our spot, I think. But we'll check it out. So we got our camp all set up, beautiful spot, and just hung out for a couple hours, and now we're gonna go tour around the rest of the lake and do a little bit of fishing. There we go. All right, there he is. So it's been dispatched. We're gonna go back and cook this fish up. It's getting dark out. Got that fish just in time. All right, so we got some peppers, zucchini, artichokes, and mushrooms here. We got some shell pasta. Mix the fish. There we go. It's not the prettiest meal, but some nice fresh fish and a nice side. It's not a camping video unless you've got some good coffee making footage in the morning. All right, well, we're at the end of the lake here, and gonna just see if there is an old portage trail here. There's two little inlets that look like they may have an old trail. So I'm just at the first one. It's pretty grown in. I'm not sure. There's a lot of just animal trails and things like that here, so I don't really know if there is one, but we're gonna go and take a look anyways. Got my bear spray and bear banger and all that stuff. Some moose tracks. I don't know. Here's an interesting find. I was just cruising along the shore here. Spotted this shiny thing. So this is an old Sports Pal canoe. Looks like it says North Bay, Ontario on it. Completely shredded. I don't know if it just got washed up and over time or what, but well, this is the last spot I was going to check out, and this actually looks pretty promising for an old portage trail. Just at the other side of the far end of the lake. I found this old Bat 50 can here. My guess is this is from the mid 80s. It's pretty thick metal, but it is in milliliters, so I believe it was the early to mid 70s when they switched over to the metric system here, but you know, it could be early 80s. I'm not sure. And it's amazing people came all the way back in here and threw this down. I bet you they didn't think that somebody would be looking at their garbage probably 40 years later. I'll take a walk down here and see. I don't know if we've got enough time to portage the canoe and everything in, but we'll go in and take a look. It doesn't look like this trail's been used for years. I can't tell whether, I mean, it looks like it's been used by animals a fair bit. I saw some bear scat. Well, seems like any part of a trail is ended here in this swampy section. I don't know if it's just because things have just grown up a lot faster in this kind of area, but yeah, the trail seems to have disappeared and probably just about halfway, but I don't really want to bushwhack through there and risk getting lost, and definitely not going to be trekking the canoe back in here right now. Spotted this just off the trail heading back. I'm wondering whether this is more of a trap line than portage. Hard to say. This one's been up for a few years for sure. And falling apart. exploring this lake a bit further, getting into checking out those trails that kind of just turned into a bushwhack. Trying to get into that other lake. I'm sure at some point there was a nice trail cut in there, but if you're coming in here for a bigger trip, I'd be tempted to get into those other lakes. Sometimes it's nice to just get out onto a couple of lakes and do some fishing and relax. Yeah, we're gonna head back to camp here shortly. I'm just gonna grab a bit more firewood and start cooking dinner. You may notice we're trying out some new gear here. So Recreational Barrel Works hooked us up with a new pack here. Come on. And usually we stick with the rubberized packs. I've wanted to try one of these style packs out, and my first impressions are pretty positive. There's some definite advantages to the style pack. So this is the expedition pack that they have. It's got this compartment on the top that you can put in easy access items. I've got the dog leash in here, just in case I need to leash her. Basically it's a fairly simple pack. It's got these liners that you can get to waterproof everything, and so this is the kind of heavier duty liner, and you put everything inside that. But the nice thing is you can put things that may be wet, or it doesn't matter if they get wet, on the outside of the liner. Yeah, they make good products, designed in Canada. So that's the expedition pack. That's what it looks like fully packed here with what I've got. Lots of gear in there, and like I said, it was pretty comfortable coming in on that portage. So campsite's right there. We've just left. I was just taking a quick shot of us leaving, and a bear was right there and jumped in the water, and now you can see it's swimming away. He must have heard us and said, well, I'm getting over to the other side. I don't like this. There it goes. Glad we didn't run into that, eh, Dawson? That wouldn't have been ideal. Dawson sees it. Well, this was actually my longest solo camping experience, and I wouldn't necessarily call it solo because Dawson was with me, but solo human, I guess. And I'm not big on solo trips, to be honest. I usually like going camping with a small group or with Hillary, and I just find it's more of a fun experience. Yeah, there's also a bit of a safety factor there too. There's a lot that can happen on these trips, and the solo experience is different in that you can kind of just do what you want to do. I picked a general route and some lakes I wanted to get into, but I was kind of just playing it by ear and just doing lots of fishing, some reading, and just exploring the lakes. But no, this was an awesome trip. Well, thanks for coming along on this one.